Hi, I'm Steve Ball, PGA Master Professional and owner of Ball Golf Center in Oklahoma City. If you've gotten here today through our website, I appreciate you stopping by. And if there's anything else on the website that we can help you with, please give us a call. Okay? I want to talk to you a little bit today about club fitting. Before I get into the specifics, I want to give you a little bit about my background. I've been fitting golf clubs for over 20 years. I helped Titleist and Cobra develop their club fitting systems. I've taught over 500 club fitting seminars to PGA golf professionals, where I've trained about 7,000 PGA professionals. So this is something I feel very strongly about. I think this is a big part of game improvement, and I also think that's very confusing for a lot of consumers out there when they go to look for golf clubs. So I want to make sure that you know I'm going to be very honest with you today about some things. When I talk about particular things in club fitting, I'm going to back up some of those with stats, and these statistics have all been tested and proven through research and development teams. I think that's very important that you know that, because there's a lot of misinformation out there today about golf clubs, some which kind of borders, in my opinion, on propaganda. There's a lot of claims that are made out there that simply aren't true. And so when I talk to you about these things today, it's going to be based on facts and things that we know are true, that are pretty much indisputable. And I think that's very important you know that I'm being honest with you in all aspects of the club fitting process. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to talk to you now about driver fitting. We do more of this than anybody in the country, and I think we're one of the best at it. What you see behind me here is one of our club fitting carts. You also see one of the launch monitors that we use. Okay, and I'll talk to you a lot more today about launch monitors and how that plays into the process and what fantastic technology that is. Okay, now a little bit about the process of club fitting. In this fitting cart, you see I've got about 40 or 50 drivers back here that we could use on any given day. We've got virtually hundreds of options on drivers and lengths and all those kind of things that we can use. The process is this: we're going to determine what length is best for you first, and I'll show you a good graphic here of why that is very important to us. You can see here on this club here, here's a club that a player was hitting that was the wrong length. You'll notice various impact marks on the toe, down on the bottom of the club, and then a little bit in the heel. Off-center hits are a big indication that the club is the wrong length. Now, this is always assuming that the player's making a good swing. But given that, if they're off-center hits such as this, the length of the club is wrong for that player. And a lot of times that means too long. And here's some of the stats I was talking about. We know from research that Titleist has done for us over the last 15 years, 1 inch off-center hit with a driver will cost a player about 15% carry distance. Now that depends on the brand of the club and the model and those kind of things, but for the most part, about a 1 inch off-center hit can lose about 15% of carry distance for a player. On the other hand, let's say we had a club here that this player then hit that was the right length for this player, and you'll see now the marks are right on center. This will always produce the longest shots. Okay? Another stat that's really important for you to know: 3 more inches in length in a driver. 3 more inches in length, if the player were to hit the longer club on center, would probably only produce about 5 to 10 yards more carry distance. So now think about those stats. 3 more inches in length, you might get 5 to 10 more yards in carry distance, but if the club is too long and cause you to hit those shots off center, you're going to lose as much as 15% carry distance. So a player that hits the ball, let's say 200 yards in the air, 3 more inches in length, he might get out to 205, 210 maybe, but a 1 inch off center hit, he's going to lose 15% of that, or 30 yards. So you can see the trade-off is not very good in trying to go for longer clubs. And the manufacturers and a lot of people that don't fit want you to think that a longer club is going to hit the ball further. That's not the case. It will a little bit, but not nearly enough to make up for the fact that when you miss hit it, you're going to lose 25, 30 yards maybe. Okay, so the other parts of the fitting process are this. We're going to check, once we get length tested for and we know what length you'll use, then we would use the same length of club for the remainder of the test, in which we're going to determine the correct launch angle and backspin. Sometimes I refer to backspin as just spin, so if you hear me say spin, that means backspin. The parameters we're looking for with most players is about 10 degrees launch to 14 degrees launch, maybe as much as 15 or 16 with some other players. The spin rate we're looking for is 2,500 to 3,500 amount of backspin. So when we get all that lined out and we get everything correct, we're going to look for what we refer to as a high. Here's one of the screens on our launch monitors that gathers all the data and for our fittings, and you can see it's very technical, and a lot of information is launch and spin and a lot of dials and techie and all that, which is great for us to gather information from. I'm going to zoom in on the important parts here, and those are the columns that the stats we like to look at. There you see ball speed,
at the top there, and backspin, launch angle, and then the resulting carry distance based on those numbers. Now the numbers highlighted in the gold bar there are an average of all of these clubs that we hit, and I'm going to talk about each one of these individually. This player that did this hitting here was about an 18 handicap player, kind of moderate ability, not a bad player, not a lot of club head speed, but a great candidate for fitting. So you see the first group of shots this player hit. On the first column, their ball speed, and you notice the ball speeds are all pretty similar, range from 112.9 miles per hour to 114. So within about a mile and a half difference in ball speeds. That's very important to remember that. He started out and he's hitting big slices, so the spin was way up. You see the backspin on that shot there in the blue was 6,438 RPMs of backspin. If you could see that shot on the range, it would graph out like what you see right here. Ball started out kind of left and then swept up big and climbed up and then fell to the right with a big sweeping slice there. So very, very inefficient way to hit a golf shot, and that's why you see that big spin there. So the result of that, with 112 ball speed and 6,400 spin, the launch angle wasn't too bad, around 12 degrees. He hit it 146 yards in the air, total carry. So this player, we worked with him for a little while and worked on his swing, got him to where he didn't draw the ball or didn't slice the ball, and then we kept the same club there, and his next shots were what you see right there. Ball speed was a little bit higher, 114, but not much, but the spin you see came way down from 6,400 to 2,800, and now the launch was really low. This player started out hitting an 8.5 degree lofted driver that was 45 inches long, and so that lower launch and a little better ball speed, much better spin. The player still didn't get much distance, only 147 yards in carry distance is all he got. And then we switched the player to an 11.5 degree lofted driver, and we also gave him a little bit shorter club, an inch shorter, down to 44 inches. And he's making better swings now. So you can see the ball speed's about the same, 114.8 miles per hour. The launch backspin was 2,600 RPMs of backspin, so because he's drawing the ball, that spin came down. Because we have more loft in the club now, his launch is up to 14.2 degrees. Now notice again, the ball speed's about the same, but look at the total carry distance. It went from 147 yards up to 171 yards. A 24-yard increase for this player, which is about a 16% increase, just from getting the club with a little more loft, making a better swing, getting the ball up in the air. This player picked up 24 yards, which is a tremendous amount of yardage for a player only starting out hitting a ball 147 yards. It'd be like a player, say a player hits at 200 yards in there, he picks up 16%. That's 30 yards more carry. So this is a really good example of the fitting process, going along with maybe a little bit of a swing change and making a better move at it, and then get fitted with the right golf club, and this player's picked up a tremendous amount of distance. And not to mention, this swing's going to be more consistent. His missed hits will be better too, because they'll be up in the air with some loft, just like what we want, and he's going to improve his driving abilities a great deal on the golf course.
Right, length of turn for the player, we got the right launch angle, and we got the right amount of backspin. So this player's going to be in pretty good shape now with his driver, which we think is a very, very important club in terms of game improvement for players. You hit your driver 14 times in a round of golf, 14 tee shots on par 4s and par 5s. If you've played much golf at all, you know that a good drive makes the hole play much easier. And if you're driving the ball well for the day, it makes the golf course play a lot easier. So we happen to feel very strongly about the correct fitting for all golf clubs, particularly drivers. And drivers today, you must know, are designed a lot different than they were 5 or 10 years ago. The manufacturers know about this, the high launch, low spin. They're the ones that have taught us this. And so they're developing their products, their golf clubs and the golf balls, to produce less backspin, which means it's very, very important that you get the right loft and the right shaft and the right shaft flex and the weight to help produce those ideal launch conditions. So with all that said, it's not hard at all for most players to pick up 15 to 30, 40 yards more distance by being fitted correctly with a driver that works for them rather than the driver they're currently playing with. So hopefully this will give you some information. Please give us a call at Ball Golf, and we would love to have you come out, and we'll put you through this process and find out which driver is best for you. Thank you.